What's going on, fellas? Welcome back to the channel. I have an interesting one that is on a big 650, 750, but this applies to your pickups as well. I want to know, are you having an oil leak from your CCV box on your 6.7 Power Stroke? I'm going to show you guys how to take this off and how to repair this problem using a new OE box. All right, guys, let's check this out. Alright guys, thanks so much for coming back and checking out the channel. I'm trying to provide you guys with some usable and relatable information, and this one comes on a 650, 750. Now this engine is also in your pickups. This has a few different configurations with the charge air cooler, different turbocharger, and sorted piping and intaking kinds of stuff. But one of the things that we have both underneath the hood of the pickups and the 650, 750s is the closed crankcase ventilation box. This takes all of the crankcase vapors and routes them via this convoluted hose to the lower intake manifold, where it gets reburned back into the engine. Now here is that box off the truck. You can see what it looks like. Now the video that I had previously done, you guys can reference that. You will be able to see the difference. That box had bolts all the way around here and was totally different, had a replaceable filter. This has no replaceable filter and is very light, probably just has a bunch of baffles in it. I have not taken apart any of the newer 6.7 CCVs. Now this model is a 22. This particular box came into effect in 20. So they continued to use this. If you guys remember the first 6.7s, remember they had the sensor for the crankcase pressure. Then they came out with Recall Action 17M04, where we actually reprogrammed the PCM to no longer look at that sensor, and they didn't have to replace the CCV box. Now the procedure when you remove these is to replace it. Ford has the procedure. They do not want you reusing this because this collar here is a one-time use collar. But if you guys remember the other video I showed you, if you ever need to take this off, I showed you very easily how you can slide this rubber collar down and gently pry on those fingers, and this pops out. I'm gonna have to do that here on this one to even get it off the truck. So this is the new one, part number right here, if you guys have a 20 and up. But this one came in for an oil leak, and with 6,000 miles on it, I'm only led to assume that whoever put that on just didn't get it seated maybe before they tightened it down. So because this box is remove and replace, there isn't any replacing O-rings that I can use because I'm just getting a new box. You guys see I got one bolt here, I have two in the back over there, and then up top. And then up top over here next to the fuel filter, I have one more down there. So it's really not that hard to take off. I'm gonna have to disconnect a couple of these fuel lines just so that I can slide this out and around those. But I'm gonna get suited up and booted up, and we're gonna take off this CCV box off the 6.7. All right, I'm gonna start by climbing all the way atop of this truck. I'm gonna do the same thing I showed you guys on the video, where I instructed you the correct way or the wrong way, whatever you want to call it, on how to remove your CCV collar from your engine. And basically I'm kind of doing this with one hand to show you guys that it's not that hard to do. If I'm doing it with one hand, you can do it as well. So that brings you to pretty much that point right there, and what you need to do is pop these and pull the pipe at the same time while rotating, so you can get the other fingers on there. Once you get two of them, the thing usually pops right off. So you could totally reuse this without an issue, but Ford wants you to replace it. You got to follow their rules. All right, so you can see the need to take the fuel lines off. I suppose on the 650, 750, you could take the CCV box backwards, which, I mean, I guess I could do, because I don't really feel like messing with the fuel lines and making a mess. But I mean, you guys can see it's pretty wide open. This is going to be the same thing for your pickup truck, just going to be a little more tighter, you know, over here by the brake booster and whatnot. So I'm going to get my 10 milli. I got that bolt. I have these two back here and this one right there. Sometimes yours might have a stud, which is still going to require you to loosen these 8 millis for this line. You got to kind of wiggle this out of the way. So I'm gonna get that on. Get these two 8 millis, or just one. There's two on the pickup. I'm gonna get this one 8 milli and just kind of weeble this out of the way. Actually, I'm not gonna need to. This must be different for a 22, but I'll be able to get a socket right on there, right here where my finger's at. So no need to take that out. If you have a pickup, you'll have another one right here by my finger, so you have to remove both of those, or you can remove this one and loosen this one, and then get enough slack to maybe move this down to get your socket on. So, all right, let's get some tools. All right, we're gonna go for this one right here. First bolt out. $10 millis. All right, I'm gonna go for this one right here. And kind of try to slip it on. Gotta get a better bite. Gotta get a better bite. There we go. We got a bite. Oh yeah. Okay, gonna do the same magnet trick. This is magic. Nobody knows about this except us technicians. Bolt number 2. All right, the last 2 bolts are gonna be right there. And I think I'm just gonna stay up top and see if I can bust this loose. Ah, we got it. Got a good bite. I'm gonna leave that just finger tight so they don't fall on me. I'm gonna go and get this, its neighbor. Got it. You guys can see. There you go. Got it out. I'm gonna stick my paw down in here and grab that one and fully loosen this one. Put these bolts up there. So now this CCV box is wobbly loose, and instead of removing these fuel lines, I'm gonna kind of just snake this out like this. It's gonna want to leak oil, and I'm just gonna kind of work it out. Too bad we don't have this room on the pickups, because that would have just been lovely. But check out that. Look at that. Totally crunched O-ring on the CCV, and they wonder why they were going through 4 quarts of oil every week. Well, friends, this is why, and it was leaking all down the side of the motor. So I have the new one over here in the box. Let me get that. Here's the new one, and check it out. We have a wonderful looking O-ring. But before I do, I'm going to take just a little bit of some lubricant, and I'm just going to put it around the new O-ring. So she just goes right in. I got a little bit on the box there. Just put a little on this flat one. Wipe my mess off on that one, and then I'm just going to make sure we don't have any O-ring sticking out of the cavity. In fact, let me go and wipe this one. And I spilled a little oil on the valve cover. We'll clean that up. Brake Clean Mafia. and I don't want this to overflow when I stick the new port in that hole, so I'm gonna kind of soak up a little bit of this oil to bring that level down. See how I brought that level down? Go ahead and give this another wipe. As much oil as I can remove, and then I'm gonna very clean Mafia the side of the engine down so that we do not have any more residue. So you guys know we gotta reverse the removal procedure. So I'm gonna stick that in there like that. Just kind of do a little wiggle. Get this guy mocked up. There's our bolt hole. She's not seated all the way down. But before we tighten it, we are going to make sure she is. Let's go in for a closer look, shall we? Get this seated all the way down. There we go. Check that out. Ooh. There we go. Check that out. She's fully sealed and flat down to the valve cover. Now we're going to drop our bolt back in. I'm going to finger tight, and then we'll come back with the ratcheto and tighten the rest of it. Okay, she's on. Let's get the tool. No real procedure to tighten it down, but just get them all evenly tightened. You see the box kind of go down. Now this stopped by itself, and I'm just going to give it one more, just like that. No big deal. This isn't a lug nut. Let's see if I can get a good bite. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Run it home. Okay, another little bend. See, am I going to lose my socket? Hope not. These wobbles are a must. And then I'm going to go for these back ones. Right here. See if we can take these guys out. Like a little turn. And its neighbor. There it goes. Okay. And another little turn. All right. CCV box is on. Now don't forget, if you have the pickup, don't forget to put your two 8mm back on, and maybe a little harness clip if you had that stud. But we had this wire here. We're gonna have to clip that back on, like so. Don't forget your connection to the lower intake manifold, and that is kind of just gonna go like that. Make sure it doesn't pull off. But check it out, guys. That is it, except for the one last best thing, most satisfying, and that is a fully charged brake clean can, because we're washing all of this down. Look at how satisfying that is. Brake clean ASMR. Hashtag brake clean mafia. That's what it's about. Clean that all off. You're gonna adjust your oil level. Adjust your oil level the correct way. 650, 750s are a little bit different. You need to let the vehicle get up to operating temperature and then let it sit for 15 minutes and then pull your engine oil dipstick and check the oil level. I'm gonna finish cleaning this off, spray it down with air, and index the oil level. I want to thank you guys for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you guys have ever had to replace your CCV box, whether it was for an oil leak, it was plugged, or you just got tired of looking at it. Let me know. I want to know. We're watching the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, sub, share, and I'll catch you guys all next time under the hood of a 6.7. See you.